Alright, we're going to try this again. For some damn reason, I keep having a problem with friggin' not pressing the record button. So this again will be a show that has already been attempted once. Try to get us some jams here. What should we listen to? I don't know. It's a tough decision today, guys. Well, it's Friday, everybody. Everybody should be stoked about that. Unless you have to work the weekends, which freaking sucks. Anyways. Jeez. What am I going to do this weekend? Probably tonight I'm going to go and make a fool out of myself like I do every Friday. But it's a good time. Anyways, let's get into the news. Let's just go straight to the Drudge Report. I'm going to try to make it a quick one today. Maybe. I don't know. I might get off on a tangent. Let's see here. Obama's half-brother runs for governor. Holy shit. Look at this guy. In Kenya, half-brother, this is from hosted.ap.org. In Kenya, half-brother to Obama runs for governor. A politician named Obama, who is running for governor in Kenya, can boast of one big claim to fame on the campaign trail: blood relations with the President of the United States. Malik Obama, a half-brother of Barack Obama, is running for a governor's position in the country's nationwide elections on Monday, though he said he's not sure what impact his relationship to the American president has on his campaign. "I'm going to milk it as Malik Obama," he said in a phone interview with the Associated Press from Western Kenya. "I can't run away from my name and association with my brother, but I have the feeling that people somewhat want to see who the brother of Obama is." The president's relative even invokes the message that Barack Obama leaned on. Let me go over that again. The president's relative even invokes the message that Barack Obama leaned on during his groundbreaking 2008 political campaign: change. Malik Obama says his platform is poverty eradication, infrastructure development, and industrialization. Quote, I hope that you all out there will support me and vote for me for this important position so that we can bring change to the county of Sayaya, Obama said at a recent campaign stop. Kenyans on Monday will cast ballots for a wide range of regional offices, but the most crucial vote is for president. Monday is Kenya's first nationwide election since the 2007 vote devolved into massive tribal violence that killed more than 1,000 people and displaced 600,000 from their homes. The 50-year-old Malik Obama hopes to become the first governor of Kenya. He is running as an independent candidate. Kenya's new 2010 constitution created 47 new political divisions known as counties to be headed by governors. Weird. Well, today is the day of the sequestration. The big sequestering, all the tax cuts and stuff. I'm going to read a couple articles about that. This is from Politiker. By Colin Campbell. Mayor Bloomberg, don't panic about the sequester. At midnight tonight, a bevy of steep spending cuts will hit the federal government unless Congress and the White House agree to an alternative deficit-cutting proposal. Although the national media has been relentlessly focused on this deadline, Mayor Michael Bloomberg said it will only affect New York City if the so-called sequestration, God, I hate that word, continues for a significant length of time. It depends on how long, Mr. Bloomberg said on his weekly WOR radio show with John Gambling. If it lasts a few weeks, no. If it does, yeah. We get 10 or 12% of our budget from the federal government. Not all of that is going to be cut back, but there would be effects. Not good effects. But in the context of, is anything going to change tomorrow? Are we going to run out of money tomorrow? I'm sure I'll get that question at the next press conference. No. That really. I'm sorry for that pause there. Furthermore, while saying the federal deficit does indeed need to be curtailed, Mr. Bloomberg argued the United States could owe an infinite amount of money, and there is no specific amount that would cause the country to default. We are spending money we don't have, Mr. Bloomberg explained. It's not like your household. In your household, people are saying, oh, you can't spend money you don't have. That is true for your household because nobody is going to lend you an infinite amount of money. When it comes to the United States federal government, people do seem willing to lend us an infinite amount of money. Our debt is so big and so many people own it that it's preposterous to think that they would stop selling us more. It's the old story. If you owe the bank $50,000, you got a problem. If you owe the bank $50 million, they got a problem. And that's a problem for the lenders. They can't stop lending us more money. Nevertheless, Mr. Bloomberg said it wouldn't be easy to find the spending cuts that do emerge. Accordingly, when Mr. Gambling suggested cutting waste could solve a significant portion of the deficit, Mr. Bloomberg flat out disagreed. Listen, I've worked now in government for 11 years, he said. One of the problems is the definition of waste. You think the programs that I want are waste, and I think the programs that you want are waste. It's not like somebody is taking wheelbarrows full of dollar bills and throwing them out the window. It's a question of definition. What is waste and what is not? Everything we have was put in by Congress, signed by the President. There was a reason for it or a constituency for it. Most of the tax breaks are designed to encourage or discourage economic activity. Thanks, Mayor Bloomberg, for enlightening us on how America has infinite amount of money. Let's see here. Let's go to Fox News. I'm going to read a couple articles on the on Fox News and CNN, and then I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk about, but we'll get into something. Okay, Obama. Congressional leaders failed to reach last-ditch sequester deal. President Obama placed blame squarely on Republican lawmakers at a Friday press conference for failing to stop automatic spending cuts that were to begin kicking in later in the day, calling the cuts, quote, dumb and arbitrary. Republicans, for their part, said the fault was his for insisting that increased taxes be part of the resolution. The president said the impact of the cuts won't immediately be felt, but middle-class families will begin to have their lives disrupted in significant ways. He said that as long as the cuts stay in effect, Americans will know that the economy could have been better had they been averted. The pain, though, will be real, Obama said. And this is classic Obama scare tactic, of course. He said he still believed the cuts could be placed, but he wanted a deal that included more tax revenue. Let's be clear, none of this is necessary, Obama told reporters at the White House. It's happening because of a choice that Republicans in Congress have made. We shouldn't be making a series of dumb, arbitrary cuts to things. Obama met for less than an hour Friday morning with House Speaker John Boehner, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, Senate Republican Leader Mitch McConnell, and House Democratic Leader Nancy Pelosi. Boehner's office said he and McConnell told Obama they're willing to close tax loopholes, but only to lower taxes overall, not to replace spending cuts. Obama and congressional leaders have agreed that Congress should pass a bill funding the government beyond the end of March, while they keep working on a way to replace the spending cuts, Boehner's office said. The president got his tax hikes on January 1st, Boehner said bluntly after the meeting with Obama. The discussion about revenue, in my view, is over. It's about taking on the spending problem here in Washington. So, as you can see. Let's see here. I'm looking at a poll on this website. It's called the Real Clear Politics Poll, and it's on Fox News, mind you, so it's probably, job approval. Obama has 50.8% job approval rating and 43.7% disapproval rating. Congress has a 15.4 approval rating and a 78.7 disapproval rating. Direction of country, in the right direction, 34.3% of people think that, and in the wrong direction, 57%. So that's not real great. Not real great at all. Anyways, guys, it's Friday. What's everybody got going on this weekend? I think I'll probably have to have a few beverages tonight. Then Sunday I'm going to see a comedian. That should be a good time. let's see here. Let's check out paranormalnews.com, see what's going on there. See if anything interesting. Maybe. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Alright. Oh, I know what I kind of want to talk about. Is anybody out there, probably not, remember a quote-unquote phenomena called Slender Man? Well, I remember actually finding it online at some point. And, you know, of course, I wasn't there from the beginning, and actually believing that this thing was happening. But it actually turns out it's a 4chan, what we call pasta, where, I don't know, actually some of them are pretty good. It's on the Paranormal channel on 4chan, which, yeah, parental discretion advised on that freaking website. But, and what would happen on the Paranormal channel is that these people would come into message boards, and they would start writing these stories. Like, one that really got me, I wish I could remember what it's called. I have it, I actually printed it out and let someone else read it. But what it was is the setup, okay, it's like a message board, and everybody is basically anonymous. And people would come in, especially on the Paranormal channel, and they would start writing this story about, it would be like a paranormal story or something you'd read on a message board. And, you know, the story would claim to be true, but at a certain point you knew that someone was just writing a tale. But no, the Slender Man, it was like this really tall thing in a black suit. It resembled Jack Skellington. I can recall being used to describe it quite a few times. But anyways, I remember hearing it, and I found it on Coast to Coast AM, a clip on YouTube of Coast to Coast AM, the Slender Man. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can actually play this to where it would you can hear it. If anybody knows me, I know a little bit about computers, but not enough to do some of the things I want to do. Let's see, code. Alright, here we go. I'm going to turn this music off.
Have you ever heard of the Slender Man?
The Slender Man?
Yes.
No, I have not.
Well, the Slender Man is one of those shadow people type stories, and it's common amongst kids. And my girlfriend, when she told me recently that when she was younger, when she was a child, she got up one morning, she looks down the hall, and there's this man, the Slender Man, in the hallway, and he's described as having he's very thin, and he wears a black suit.
Is he evil?
I'm not sure. He's known as wanting to kidnap children, and I found this information on the internet. And he has very long limbs, and his arms stretch.
But he looks human.
He's humanoid, I'd say. He has a sort of Jack Skellington look.
I've got it. All right, I'll check out the Slender Man. I have not heard about him at all.
I heard the caller talk about Slender Man.
The Slender Man. Do you know anything about this thing?
He's kind of been a big buzz on the internet lately.
Okay.
And there's these videos on YouTube about these group of people who made videos, and they appear to be seeing the Slender Man, and apparently he's stalking the director of the videos. And the Slender Man myth is that children he appears to children, and he kind of kidnaps children, and children see them in their dreams. And
Weird.
He's very, very tall, almost like what the last caller said, like a Jack Skellington, like tree-like tall.
Is this like some kind of promotion, you think, for a movie or something?
I don't think so. It's kind of daily. Sometimes they'll add videos, and they'll show clips of these things, weird things that happen with the camera or sound bites. He seems to have some sort of effect on the sound, and the sound will distort whenever he's around.
Okay.
And there's been photos that have surfaced on the internet from this library that burned in California.
Yes.
And in the pictures, there's like a bunch of children, and in the background you can see like almost a tall like figure. He's almost like a man in black, and he wears a tall suit, but he's faceless. And people are thinking that he's kind of like a shapeshifter because he can extend his arms to great lengths, and they can also become kind of like octopi tentacles.
Is he hurting people?
They say sometimes after he appears, children go missing, and sometimes they reappear and they have, a lot of trauma done to them, but they can't recall.
But this is growing on the internet, so it should be easy to find, huh?
Yeah. It'll be really easy to find. Just type in Slender Man.
Okay, we'll check that out. That could be a good story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty interesting.
Slender Man.
Pretty creepy.
That is weird. Slender Man.
Hi, George.
Hi.
I've been hearing people call in tonight talking about, I guess they call him the Slender Man.
Yeah, what is this thing? Other than what people are telling me.
First, I want to say that I feel very fortunate that this is the first time I've really called your show, and I felt like if I got through that it was meant to be.
It is meant to be.
Well, in 81, I gave birth to my son, and the following year, I started having a lot of dreams, and I saw this thing in my dream, what I believe is the Slender Man, and it was a very vivid dream. That was in 82, I had the dream.
Okay, does he look like what people have been describing him to be?
He's skeletal kind of looking, but yet human looking. He's very long-limbed.
Long and gangly.
Gangly, but the thing is, and he was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie series. I had my son in 82, and you know how many years between that and Buffy the Vampire TV series. I saw this creature one night, and I couldn't believe it. Then I researched it, and there's a German folklore, but they call it something to do with Kinder, which has to do with children. But I was very, very. Then I knew there was this thing is real.
So you don't think this is some little YouTube hoax, do you?
No, this is the dark side communicating with humans. I know from what I saw in Buffy. Okay, what I saw in my dream, I'm sitting in my dining room, and
any true investigator goes to Buffy the Vampire Slayer for
we're rubbing with its ears. Now on Buffy, it hobbles into the children's hospital, and because it's there are children there, and when it stands up, it's like tall. And see, what I saw in my dream, it never stood up, but it hobbled in the room, and yet I remember its knees being like up level with its head.
What's it want?
But it sounded like when it would move its fingers very long, it sounded like bamboo chimes, clinky, clanky, almost like dry bones or something you would think of.
Oh, like a skeleton.
Yeah, but yet it had skin. But it looks like an old man in a way, but had long, kind of gray hair and long, pointy features. But now in Buffy, it went a step further because he opened his mouth, and then he became more vicious looking. And
well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do a show on the Slender Man because this is the first I've heard about it tonight, and it's well worth checking into.
Anyways. Yeah, well, it turns out Slender Man is all an internet prank. And it's interesting when you listen to that, because it makes you wonder, like, are these people, have they really ever seen the Slender Man, or are they all people off the friggin' message board calling in to promote the idea? Because it, you know, when I heard the story the first time, I was like, we've struck gold. It's time to friggin' do research on the Slender Man. And yeah, it took about an hour, but I eventually figured out that it was all a lie. Friggin' crappy. And that kind of reminds me of this kind of like folklore I heard, I guess. And I don't even know if it was real, but it was when I was really young. I was like, I don't know, 3rd or 4th grade maybe, but I went to this school, and I don't know, but probably not even an acre, maybe a third of an acre down this hill. There's like this forest, and it seems like a big forest to me now, but I mean, I was little, and things have a way of looking a lot larger when you're younger. But yeah, there's this rumor that there was like this, it sounds eerily like the storyline of It, Stephen King's It, and it's probably the entire influence of this story. But yeah, I mean, I can remember being young like that and hearing some rumor, because the whole point of the story, if I quit fumbling over my words, is that there was this clown back in the day, I don't know, 80 years ago, that lived in these woods, and these kids would always go out there, and they would disappear when they went and visited this clown in this shack. And supposedly these kids knew where the shack used to be, and it was where this bridge was. And so yeah, we'd go check out that bridge, me and the boys, and just hang out there. And so yeah, even in the 3rd and 4th grade, I was out ghost busting. But it was an interesting story, and you know, it's very revealing on a psychological aspect how, you know, like that show on Coast to Coast where the story gets started, and then all of a sudden everybody's seen it. And you know, it's just weird. It's interesting. People are nuts. People are definitely crazy. Let's see. What else should we talk about? You know what I want to do? I've been wanting to do some research, more in-depth research than I've already done, on the Phoenix Lights. It's a UFO sighting. I'm going to read Wikipedia just to give everybody an overview, but yeah, it's pretty interesting, really. I mean, there's so many people that saw this thing, so regardless of its origin, it is still unidentified, as far as we know. But here we go, Phoenix Lights. Phoenix Lights, sometimes called, quote, the lights over Phoenix, were a series of widely sighted UFOs observed in the skies over Arizona and Nevada in the United States and Sonora, Mexico on March 13, 1997. Lights of varying descriptions were seen by thousands of people between 1,930 hours and 2,230 hours, in a space of about 300 miles, from the Nevada line through Phoenix to the edge of Tucson. There were allegedly 2 distinct events involved in the incident: a triangular formation of lights seen to pass over the state, and a series of stationary lights seen in the Phoenix area. The United States Air Force identified the second group of lights as flares dropped by A-10 Warthog aircraft that were on training exercises at the Barry Goldwater Range in southwest Arizona. Witnesses claimed to have observed a huge carpenter square-shaped UFO. A huge carpenter square-shaped UFO. A carpenter square. Yeah. Word of the wise. Containing 5 spherical lights or possibly light-emitting engines. Fiff Symington, the governor at the time, was one witness to this incident. He later called the object otherworldly. The lights were reported to have reappeared in 2007 and 2008, but these events were quickly attributed to respectively military flares dropped by fighter aircraft. Let's see. Yeah. But yeah, it's something to look into. Phoenix Lights, pretty interesting. All those people, seeing it. I don't know. I mean, it's just weird. I mean, whether they're secret government flying apparatus or it's otherworldly phenomena, like, what's the point? What's the point in keeping all this shit secret? I mean, I understand military-wise and all that, but I don't know. It's very interesting stuff. And I can't remember what. I think it was Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura when it was like Area 51. Maybe it was a UFO episode. I don't know. I remember, but they progressed the theory that, yeah, it's all military stuff. But on the same note, it's interesting when you see all the UFO stuff, like the ancient aliens, UFO hunters, and all that stuff coming into the mainstream, even though UFO hunters got kicked off the air after that one episode. But it's very interesting to me that it seems like, let's take into account that, let's assume that the NWO theories, the New World Order, One World Government theories are all 100% valid. In that case, it could really all just be a trick, and because it appears that, if the conspiracy is true, then they own the media. And if they own the media, they control what goes on TV. And if they control what goes on TV, why do they want us to watch a bunch of UFO shit, regardless of its validity? And I think it's because they want us to think, deep down, that there really are aliens visiting us. For what reason? Well, they have that Ronald Reagan speech where he says that wouldn't the world be a better place, basically, if we had a foreign threat that caused everyone to unite together and put away their differences. So, it's pretty interesting. Let's see here. And there's a lot of weird shit in the UFO field. And there's people that worship UFOs. I mean, you see those cults where they think the UFOs are going to come, get them out of here. And they all, cover themselves in weird blankets and shit. And it's just, there's so much to it that I don't think the average person really understands all the stuff that goes into it. Well, I'll tell a story. I told this story to somebody the other day. It's pretty interesting. I went to a UFO conference. I'm not going to reveal which one or anything, but it was about a year and a half ago, I think, maybe longer. And this is a perfect example of the bizarreness that goes on behind the scenes in any of the paranormal worlds. I mean, like the ghost hunting world, the UFO world, the conspiracy world. There's a consistency in these where they all have these weird, social, bizarre things going on underneath all the stuff that's on TV and all the stuff you get to see from an outsider's perspective. Okay, and as an example of this, at this UFO conference, the guy that was putting it on, he claimed that, and it all centered around, I think I talked about this the other day, around the guy named Butch Wachowski. He's the guy who does the presentation on animal mutilations and all that. He's from Pennsylvania, and he's an ex-criminal detective, supposedly. In this field, you always got to say supposedly, because everybody that's in the field was always something at one point in time, something where they are privy to some sort of special knowledge, and I guess they hit the mainstream. But anyways, Butch Wachowski's a criminal investigator, and he does a lot of investigations on alien abduction and cattle mutilations. And anybody who's ever been into cattle mutilations or alien abduction knows that it just gets weirder and weirder the farther you go. But anyways, the guy that had put the conference on claimed that he was getting, like, these death threats and little weird notes and stuff concerning the conference left in his mailbox, and all this stuff. And I forget what else he said happened, but it's something similar to that, and he wouldn't go into detail. But the story continues that he actually hired a private detective, and this story also does a good job of reflecting what goes on behind the scenes in a lot of these circles, because one guy will hire a private detective to do research on another UFO investigator, and then that UFO investigator will figure out he has a private eye following him around, and he'll hire a private eye to watch the other guy, and it's just madness. It's madness. But anyways, after he'd hired the private eye, supposedly this private eye took a break, hadn't really found much out, and he received like a little red wagon while his family were camping in some kind of camping trip, and it had like a bunch of stuff that was in his house, and it had a note saying that you can't come, you need to stay away, I know you're watching me, kind of stuff. And so, yeah, the private eye apparently, supposedly, completely dropped it, didn't want anything to do with it because they'd found him out. And, yeah, somehow in this story, I don't remember it word for word, but it was connected with the fact that they didn't want Butch Witkowski to present his evidence. And regardless of if it's some secret government agency, secret anything like that, Butch Witkowski, in today's world, has a very different view of the UFO phenomena, alien abduction phenomena, whatever. His view is that they're malevolent, and that they really don't care about us, and that it's all, I remember him making a statement that if he ever saw an alien, he'd probably shoot it with a shotgun. And this is amidst a conference where there's a couple speakers there that are all like, we need to bond with the aliens and let them help us evolve, and all that kind of thing. And yeah, there's Butch Witkowski standing up there saying he'd blow one away if you ever ran into one. But yeah, that's one example. Another example is like, even in the investigative world of ghosts and spirits and stuff, I can remember investigating a case where there was a significant level of activity, and as things progressed and time moved on, it became apparent that the people that I was investigating were actually solely dedicated to causing activity in the house through like ritual and basically invoking quote unquote, God, what do they call it? There's an occultic name for it, and there's a scientific experiment. The scientific experiment is called the Philip Ghost, and if no one has ever heard of that, they should do some research on it. But to make a long story short, the Philip Ghost, basically, it's a scientific experiment. It was witnessed by a bunch of people. They were attempting to recreate a table lifting phenomena, which is where everybody would put their fingers on the table, and one of the ways that the ghost would communicate is that he would make the table lift off the ground. But anyways, yeah, it was a scientific experiment where they basically convinced these people that there was spirit activity in the building. Totally believed it. And there really was none, according to the team. And what the scientific investigators figured out is that if they could convince everyone that the phenomena was real and everyone believed it, that physical activity, like real paranormal activity, would actually occur because of everyone being so convinced that there was a ghost there. So rather than the explanation of people imagining phenomena due to their belief, it was actually shown to cause physical phenomena to occur. So yeah, so basically if everybody in the house believes there's something there, you're going to have paranormal activity in there regardless if there is anything there or not. And an explanation for that can go both ways. That starts a whole philosophic debate over whether the people brought it in because of their belief, there was actually a spirit there to begin with, or if it really is all in the mind, or if the mind is causing the phenomenon. But anyways, and there's a name for it. There's an occult name for it. because at one point in time in the mysteries, it was believed that you could you would do some sort of ritual and you would actually create an entity, and you would actually create a spirit. God, what is that called? I'm gonna hold on a second. I'm gonna find it real quick. Ba 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 ba. Let's see here. An egregore. It's called an egregore. Let's read it from Wikipedia. Egregore is an occult concept representing a thought form or collective group mind, an autonomous psychic entity made up of and influencing the thoughts of a group of people. Let's see here. So basically, yeah, the egregore, the occult concept of the egregore, and the Philip ghost are basically the same thing. So, food for thought. Alright, well, I think we got into enough weird shit today. I'm going to call it quits. It's Happy Friday, everybody. Everybody have a good weekend. I'll hit you up Monday.